Hello, my name is Roman Dzindzichashvili, and the topic of today's lecture, it's an easy system to play against Caro-Kann. Well, besides learning this system, you will learn some fine aspects of positional build-up and creating of an attack on opponent's king. And this is all that this system is about. So let's play e4, c6, d4, d5. Honestly, I don't know. I know almost every game that was ever played with it, but I don't know of any good system that gives black complete equality. I played this opening on any level. I played this game against Anatoly Karpov in the match when I played him in a world championship, a quick chess match, like 25 minutes per game. I got there completely winning position, and I blundered. I made a bad move order, and I lost the game and lost the match because of that match. It was last game of the match was with a tight score. So bishop d3. Well, idea is to play pawn c3 and to have this pawn structure. Now, let me explain something that is very, very important. You see this pawn structure. White is missing e pawn, black is missing c pawn. Now let's play slightly different opening. I'm going to show you the difference. Now it's the other way around. Black is missing e pawn and white is missing c pawn. Both positions are better for white. Now, why can we say that? Because in this position, black wants to put bishop on f5 and bishop on d6. Bishop on d6, if they put, they will have good position. But they never have a chance to do that. Now, if they go c6, white goes e3, and later white goes bishop d3. Now you see, black bishop never made to d6. But if black did play bishop d6, they're going to have serious problem with this pin. But now let's go to our position. You're going to see a dramatic difference here. Same pawn structure exactly, but bishop goes on d3, and there is no pin. Well, there is no pin like this, because black cannot play bishop g4. On knight c6, now knight f3 will be a big mistake, because then black can go bishop g4. We go c3. Black still having problem developing the c8 bishop. Knight f6, bishop f4. And this is the most common position of this variation of Caro-Kann. The best move, well, maybe not the best, but the most popular move is bishop g4, and after queen b3, queen c8, or queen d7. Also, there is a move like knight a5 that was played by Petrosian against Fischer. I just made a DVD on this variation, and I displayed on my DVD some most important games that was played with this variation. And of course, Fischer-Petrosian game is one of them. Queen a4 check, bishop d7, queen c2, and queen b6 played by Petrosian. Idea is to play bishop b5, obviously, and exchange light square bishop. Fischer played a4. He allowed knight b3 because the knight is going to feel very uncomfortable on b3. And he got very good position, and he won the game. Of course, we cannot go through all the game because we don't have time for that now, but let's go to this position. Most common moves are queen c8, and lately became popular queen d7. Now, let me explain the difference. What happens on queen c8. I give you quick preview on this variation. e6, knight f3, bishop e7, we castle both, and knight goes to e5. This is very, very important position. Black must play bishop h5. If black takes on e5, this pawn structure is not good for white. This is very good pawn structure for black. However, black shouldn't take on e5 before playing bishop h5. If black takes on e5, and this for very concrete reason, after pawn takes, white has big advantage because knight is hanging, knight goes to d7, and here is why in this particular situation white is better, because they attack the h7 pawn, and here black should be able to play bishop g6. So since they didn't play bishop h5, they cannot go bishop g6, and it's difficult to protect the h pawn. If g6, then h3, and you see why black doesn't want to get trapped on h5, and this position, whichever double pawn black gets, white has a clear advantage. And if h6, there is a possibility of getting very interesting piece sacrifice where white gets a lot of material for a piece. Now, if knight takes c5, bishop e3, and white has big advantage because of the damaged pawn structure, and if pawn takes, white gets 5 pawns for a piece. And in my opinion, white is easily winning. They can go f4, and these pawns are like cockroaches. They can completely devastate black's position. So that's why on knight e5, bishop h5 is the best move. That's exactly position from my game with Karpov. But now we go rook a2 e1, knight takes, and white has to take with the bishop. Now de, as I already explained, is not that great of an idea, and bishop g6. So we take with the bishop, bishop g6, bishop takes g6, hg, and this is my game with the position. And then I saw that one grandmaster, maybe like a year or two ago, played the same position as I had against Karpov, and he improved a lot. So what happened is I played h4, so did he, and after queen c6, I played queen d1, and on b5, rook e3. And when black continued the play on queen side, it might have been b4. This position is very, very dangerous for black. I played g4, which was okay move, but I like a lot more what the other player did. He went rook h3 and immediate h5. And now if knight takes on h5, then queen g4, creating super powerful threat of rook takes h5, and there is very difficult to play now for black. And taking with a g pawn can also create devastation in black's position. So this is a quick overview. If you are interested with details, of course, you can either purchase DVD or get some analysis of your own where you can see the details of it. So after 95, I think white is better in this position. They have clear plan of attacking black's king side, queen d1, and what is especially good is position of rook on e3. It defends the c3 pawn, and it's also playing active role in attacking black's king side. Now let's get to different variation. Let's get to queen d7. And let me explain why people used to play for many years queen c8 and never queen d7. Queen d7 was known as a bad move because it gives white a tempo. After knight d2, e6, knight f3, bishop e7, and white would go knight e5 with a tempo, and black cannot take on e5 because they lose immediately after pawn takes e5, attacking the knight. And if knight moves anywhere, then simply bishop b5. That's why queen c8 was known as the best move. However, lately they play queen d7 and a knight f3. Now they take on f3 and they go bishop d6, because if white tries to win a pawn on b7, black gets very strong compensation. There's a rook b8 is coming, and also possible e5. This is known as very satisfactory position for black. What do we do here? So I came up with a very interesting plan on bishop d6, bishop g3, and I recommend anyone to play it for white. Castling, and black starts the queen side attack. We go rook e1. Well, now black should take on g3, because if they continue with b5, knight e5, or even bishop h4, may be very unpleasant. So after white castles, the h file, white doesn't have rook on h file, so it's okay to take on g3. And now suppose black goes for b5. Queen d1, it's very, very strong move. What is the point of this move? After b5, we have a chance to go g4, because now pawn on g4 is indirectly protected because of knight takes g4, bishop takes h7, followed by knight g5 check, and queen takes g4 is going to be very dangerous for black. And after g4, if black plays h6, Then after g5, knight's position on g5 is very threatening. I think black is in serious trouble here. So that cannot be done either. So queen d6 probably instead of h6, then g5, and probably g3. Idea is to play on some move like before, like king g2 and rook h1. White has good attacking chances. But notice I'm giving you here like a quick overview. This is very straightforward variation where you get very clear plan. You want to establish control on e5 square and slowly organize white's attack on the king side. Now, what other possibilities are there for black? On bishop d3. Now, lately, they came up with very interesting idea. One was a couple of interesting ideas. One was bishop g4, and on queen b3, queen c7. They said, but they never, for black, they never anticipated white's maneuver that I analyzed together with Ripka, and Ripka says that white is much better. And the variation is h3, and on bishop h5, g4. It's very straightforward, bold way to go for winning the d5 pawn, and on knight c6, knight f3. I don't want to go through whole long analysis, but according to Ripka, and I agree with her 100%, most of the time, not always, but in this case, definitely I do agree that black has no compensation. And again, this is an overview, and I'm not going through every variation and every move. And the other option that they came up with lately, it's very interesting. Knight c6, c3, and queen c7, preventing black to develop bishop on f4. Now, what does black want? They want to go e6. Well, if knight f3, and that's the best move in my opinion, they want to go bishop g4, then e6 and bishop d6, and get like queen's gambit decline. But don't forget, white has an extra tempo. And how can we convert this into an advantage? Knight d2, e6. I had it multiple times, played, of course, on the internet in relatively short time control. Knight f1, not the castle. If you castle now, you're going to get typical queen's gambit decline position, which is good for black. Knight f1, bishop d6, knight g3, and knight f6. Now we put the knight on g3 using f1 square, and now we're going h3. Now it's obvious that black has to give up the bishop. If bishop takes f3 and queen takes f3. Well, I can tell you this position is better for white, and after castling, we castle also, and white has two bishops in very comfortable position. Of course, black can go e5, but I don't think this is going to change very much. It's a very comfortable position for white. Another option black has after h3 is razor sharp variation. And after long analysis, I spent a lot of time analyzing it with Ripka and myself, and I've played several games. several people sacrificed a piece here for black. They played bishop takes g3, hg. Of course, retreating bishop is very bad for black because of knight g4, maybe even rook h4 here. The idea of taking on g3 after hg to play knight takes g4 and queen takes g3. Of course, king e2 and king f1 will lead to a mate in one move, king d2, and now knight f2, or queen takes g2. Queen takes g2, we go bishop e2, and knight f2 now. This position is better for white. White goes queen g1 or even queen f1. It doesn't really make much difference because black is going to have to take the rook. We take on f2. Black has more than enough compensation for two minor pieces. They have a rook and 3 pawns. But the problem is that 2 bishops are better than a rook and 3 pawns in this variation. Castling kingside is very dangerous because that's what white wants to do, to play king c2 and eventually develop the bishop. And kingside, all 3 verticals are completely open, and black's king is going to have very hard time there. And castling on queen side is also very favorable for white. Well, now I'm just making bare statement that white is better. Well, you don't have to trust me, and we cannot go through all different kind of variations to see why white is better. White is better. You can use your own engine to see why white is better. But now we have to go to the quick overview. And e4, c6, d4, d5, ed, cd, and bishop d3. Knight c6, c3. Well, also there is a possibility of going with g6. But you see, this variation against Caro-Kann may not be 100% best. It guarantees you something that other variations don't guarantee you. It guarantees you clear-cut plan, what you need to do. You know, after you put bishops on d3 and f4, your knight goes to f3, the other knight goes to d2, and here bishop g4 pin is practically worthless because when you go h3, black cannot retreat the bishop. So they're going to take on f3. You have very stable position and very comfortable. You're going to go queen d2, rook e1, knight e5, and this gives you easy game, easy play. And that's the biggest advantage and the best reason for playing this variation. Also, I would advise, if you're seriously interested in it, you should go and pick some games from database, look at this, how it was played by strong players, and you got yourself very, very interesting, safe, and easy to play variation against Caro-Kann. It's interesting that I saw a couple of games played starting with d4 move. I said, how can this be Caro-Kann? And when I searched game for that variation of Caro-Kann, came d4, c5, and after e3, c takes d, e takes d, and you see we got identical position through different move orders. So sometimes this happens in modern chess theory. You may start with first move c4 and get Caro-Kann, and you may start with d4 first move and get Sicilian. Those things happening. So here you have yourself very easy system to play that you will feel very comfortable in. So thank you very much, and I hope you got yourself a good system on Caro-Kann. Goodbye.